What's my thoughts on R. Kelly? There's so much I could say. But here are the facts that I will give you. Where do I start? I'm probably the only artist on Jive Records who was not forced to work with R. Kelly. It kind of was like a general thing, just where like boom. I'm the one that declined. I actually declined. I actually had the opportunity to go work with him in Chicago and do the whole process and sit around. Why, but the process was if you go to work with R. Kelly, you had to basically would go to the studio and he would just like leave you sitting there, like you just be sitting there. Sometimes you be sitting there for days, if that's what he was on. Like you basically would sit there and you would leave Chicago until it was time to work with this guy. So, and this is as huge as a fan I was not about to go sit in no studio and wait for nobody while they eating McDonald's or playing basketball. So that was the first thing. So I kind of declined. I just because of the stuff that I knew and privy to and was hearing, you know what I'm saying, in the streets and whatever, industry wise and what have you, I opted to. Born Diva hit it on the nose. So I wasn't pressed. I wasn't pressed to work with him. You know what I'm saying? And real talk, I'm gonna be brutally honest. Had I gone, I was going for one thing. I was really going to see how he worked, and I think he wanted to see how I worked. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first thing. So after declining to do that, there was this record I did. I can't remember the name of the record. I gotta find it. I know my old manager probably still has it, but I got witnesses to this. So there was this record that I did that had like a reggae kind of feel to it. He ended up somehow or another. He ended up with the record and chops the record up and puts a new hook on it or whatever. And again they were like, "Yo, this is it. You need to put this out." Da da da. And I was like, "Nah," because again, spirit being torn and whatever. Now, before I fast forward, let me backpedal. I'll go on the record and also say, and this is facts. If you do your research, you know, I'm the first singer to ever do mixtapes. Meaning like, make mixtapes. Like I was the first singer, soul singer, R&B singer, quote unquote, to make mixtapes. Like jack other people's beats, over, other rhythms. I had little sayings. The dream is real, and I had like Street Experience Volume 1. Everybody it's pretty much common knowledge. Everybody that like in my city or anybody that I sold a mixtape to knows that, this is when people were still buying physical CDs, like physical copies. Like I would basically jack the beats, do the tapes, press up the CDs, hit the streets, me flood the streets, do a lot of hand-to-hand activity, that type of thing. Just like a hustler would do. I go in a club and sell mixtapes and whatever. So fast forward to once it got cool to jack the beats. So just to kind of bring it all full circle, the Customer remix. So I remember being in New York. I was doing a photo shoot for Rockport. Who else was part of that campaign? What's my man from 106 in Park? Not AJ, but Terrence J. So Terrence J was on this campaign for Rockport. Myself and somebody else. I can't remember who the other person was. I want to say it might have been Idris Elbis. I want to say it might have been him, whatever. So I remember, man, it was like yesterday. I think it came on the radio. I think I heard it on the radio first. and then somebody emailed it to me. But it was this customer remix popped up and appeared out of nowhere with him on it from on the radio. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, no, let me back up. There's another very major caveat to this story. So at this time, Customer was blowing up. Like it was, you know, it was becoming an urban hit. You know what I'm saying? Top 10, whatever at urban. I started reaching out to people to do remixes. I reached out to a lot of people. I'm not gonna say who all the people were, but there was one person that did the remix that actually sent the verse back, and that was Trey Songz. So for that, like, we were solid. You know what I'm saying? And I reached out to a lot of people to remix this record, like get on it. You know, kind of like where it'd be a remix, like me, Trey, and another person, or me and different camps we reached out to. You know what I'm saying? Trey was the only one that sent the verse back. So here it is. Now the story's coming back to me like I remember. So I remember getting the word that Trey sent his verse and listening to it and being excited about it. And then, like, literally, as we're listening to the radio in New York, this customary remix comes on with R. Kelly on it. And so, of course, like, there were people in my circle that was, like, happy or, like, oh, shit. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I heard a line that he said on the verse. And I don't want to even say what the line is, but it was very, if it fucked with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And there was nothing I could do about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, as a label mate and him being the biggest, like, you know, it was a pretty big deal. So it was a line that he said in his verse, and then at the end of the record is when it was totally inappropriate though, especially for all that was going on with his trial and case and whatever. Exactly. Somebody just pointed it out. And I just cringe. Even to this day, when I hear that shit, I cringe. I can't even, like, enjoy the song because of that line. You know what I'm saying? But there also what burned me up was at the end of the joint when he was like, you know, young fella, this remind me of something that I would do. And I'm just like, nah, nigga, this remind me of something I would do. This remind you of something you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this remind me, he was saying, this remind me of something that I would do. And I'm listening to it like, nah, this remind me of something I would do. Because I'm a king of jacking them beats. That's what I do. When I choose to do it, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, like, you know, also knowing the history of, like, what some of the other artists that was on the label endured, like going against the grain and being difficult and what have you. You know what I'm saying? I just took it on the chin, and you know, and it was what it was, and you know what I'm saying. I think had I really pushed the issue, or like supported the record, they would have shot a video, and the record probably would have went #1 and whatever. But just morally, based on things that I knew and heard at that time, I won't say knew because if I ain't in the room, I can't, you know, whatever. But things that I had heard. And whatnot, I was conflicted, and always, like, I was conflicted, you know what I'm saying? From the time that I saw, you know, the tape and hear the trickle down, or would hear the stories when I was in Chicago, which was like, you know, but, hey, everything happens for a reason, and, you know what I'm saying? You know, out of respect for probably his kids out of anybody, I don't have nothing to say other than that, because no child should have to go through what those young ladies went through that encounter, you know, that had these experiences with him. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the pedophilia or and abuse, physical abuse and sexual abuse. you know what I'm saying, with them being minors. But then also, you know what I'm saying, it's a whole nother side of that where, like, his kids are innocent to you know what I'm saying, who, like, they go to school and deal with being teased or, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's a bad situation all the way across the board based on just his own actions and behavior that clearly he has a problem and choosing not to get help, you know what I'm saying? So as somebody who has worked very hard and still is mastering, you know, behavior that I felt like was damaging to my lifestyle or just damaging to me as a human being, you know what I'm saying? Nothing of that caliber, but just wanting to be a better person. I've learned that, you know, I'm sorry is only work and forgiveness is only granted on when the activity, when things don't occur no more. When you ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, the best way I can kind of explain this, and I'm writing a book where I'll be putting this in my book, you know what I'm saying? And but let's say hypothetically, for you're cheating on your mate, or you have a history of being a serial cheater, meaning like you go from relationship to relationship every so often, every couple of years, whatever. Baby mama, being married, maybe you've been married multiple times, but you a serial cheater. And let's say like wife number one never caught you, and y'all just went y'all separate ways for different reasons. Let's say wife number two actually caught you cheating, and you said, "Oh, babe, please take me back. I'm sorry. Please forgive me." My philosophy is, one is only truly sorry if you never practice the behavior again at all. Meaning that whether you stay with wife number two or not, or y'all go your own separate ways or whatever, you're only really fully sorry for cheating if you never practice that behavior again. You with me? You follow me on this? Meaning that if you and wife number two go y'all separate ways for a whole, separate reason, and then you get with wife number three, and you know what I mean, or you're not even married and it's girlfriend number three and whatever, it's like you don't go and then cheat on, once you go commit that act again, you're not sorry. And what I realize is that from God, excuse my language, whooping my ass so many times, and when you because when you don't learn your lesson, you know what I'm saying, you gotta take that chastising. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I say that every day I fight to do the right thing. I'm more fearful of how God and the universe is gonna hold me accountable for like fuck shit at this point. All right, so, and clearly, he's an example of. I think I'll say this. I think that we have to be reminded. Sometimes you need that eye opener through different examples. That hey, like don't get it twisted. Don't get caught up in the allure and the perception of reality that like we're all human. That we're all perfect as public figures and whatever. Like we human, we believe, we definitely believe it or not. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised if people be like, "Oh my God!" Like there's places in the world where I go and people like and that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to not like idolize somebody, because as much as I love y'all and I appreciate y'all, and I'm thankful for the support. Don't idolize me. I'm flawed just like you. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, some people's flaws are way worse than others. You know what I'm saying? Some people's sins are way worse than others. You know what I'm saying? And some people's sicknesses are way worse than others. You know what I mean? So, it's a lesson in this across the board, is where it's like, because we've been hearing it. I mean, it's a shame they had to go to this extent. It's still people. It's still people that are like supporting and living in this bubble and this false sense of reality. They're like, nah, that ain't him. This can't be true. They're just doing this to tear the black man down, or what have you. You know what I mean? So, it's you know, it's an eye opener across the board for a lot of different reasons. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's my spill on it. As somebody who already advocates for women and fights domestic violence, and you know what I'm saying? You already know how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, again, that's my thought, man. It's so much I can say that I want to say that it's just like, you know. But I've learned that opinions, if y'all notice, I haven't really been giving my opinion on a lot of different things as of late. And I used to chime in on every little thing that would come across my timeline or something that would enrage me. And then sometimes I'd be wrong, or you get the information or whatever. You take that, for example, prime example, you take the young lady that was murdered on New Year's Eve in Houston. And here it is, everybody was in an uproar because they thought they were looking for a white man and a red pickup truck. And then it came out, there's some black on black crime. And you know the rest. You know what I'm saying? You know. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear you when you say the truth is everybody ain't perfect, so don't throw the stones or cut. But these some major fucking stones. Like, but anyway, what do I know, man? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. That's the saying, right? Do I listen to Michael Jackson? I mean, I do. I'm trying to see where you going with this. So, here's to bring my whole R. Kelly full circle story to the full circle, right? There's a song I have called Temperatures Rising where I took a hot line and made it a hot song. Came out on my Love, Sex, Passion album. I then did a remix to it called Temperatures Rising Act 2. My question is to all my fans out there, because I had done this before. I became conflicted when the new thing started, the uproar and whatever. I actually, if you notice, for my diehard fans out there, Siobhan probably even noticed this, coming out of Houston, being one of my number one Texas fans. She probably noticed this. For a while, I stopped performing a song called Temperatures Rising. Like, I stopped performing it. And probably only a few months ago, I kind of jumped back in a few shows here and there without performing. And me performing that song, knowing that I took a hot line and made it a hot song, should I stop performing that altogether? And in performing that song, even though he didn't write the song and whatever, just knowing that it was in performing that song, am I lightweight supporting? I'm just curious, you know what I'm saying? So, perform the song or don't perform the song? So no meaning like no, don't perform the song. Is that like a? I gotta say if the answer is don't perform the song, just say retire it. Or if you think I should perform the song, perform the song. I'm kind of like looking at the. Well, that's a different thing because I'm Your Angel was actually a song that he wrote. Like, this isn't a song that he wrote. He wasn't affiliated with Temperatures Rise. I just was in the studio. I had wrote the verses already. The verses were already to tape. And when it was time to sing the hook, I was just fucking around and was like, temperatures rising and my body's yearning. Oh, and I was like, yo, that'd be crazy. And I took the hot line and made it a hot song. But I'm asking y'all again, you know, what's the name of the song I just played? It's called Everything Will Go. Thank you. I hear you, but he ain't responsible for more careers than Babyface. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just as responsible for careers. They actually had labels. They actually signed artists, put out labels, and changed people's lives. He ain't ever did that. He worked with different artists here and there, and you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Like, he worked with the best of the best and wrote songs for everyone. But to say that he, like, responsible for a lot of careers, like, nah, that's a stretch. Like, L.A. Reid and Babyface responsible for careers. You know what I mean? Berry Gordy and Smokey Robinson responsible for careers. You know, Puffy, he responsible for careers. Jermaine Dupri responsible for careers. And those two in particular, you know, they went on to be artists and had, you know, and put other artists on. You know what I'm saying? So. Oh yeah, I definitely fight for y'all. And never stop fighting for y'all. I'm not discrediting anyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, if I was put in that position, I would have did the same thing. Like, you just got to be put in position. He just was blessed to be put in a position to be able to be in a room to work with certain individuals. Like, you know what I mean? And once you, and you know, and the way the business works and forever work is once you give somebody something, or once something works well for someone else, they feel like, you know, industry cats feel like, or the powers that be feel like that formula can work for everybody. And that's what got the game fucked up right now. That's why every trap rapper sound like every trap rapper. And then you got certain trap rappers that are the creme de la creme. You know what I mean? That blew up basically, you know, based on skill or work ethic or both. You know what I'm saying? But that's why, you know, for that reason, everybody sound alike, man. What you doing? What's going on?
Thank you for ladies in that, Joe.
All right. Let me hear it real quick. I want to jump on that album.
All right.
Remember the beats? You should never value a man's content over his character. Amen. Amen. Hey, what's happening, Rev? You're absolutely right. Like, you know, one of the reasons where it felt like I had to get my shit together, my personal life together, because I ain't gonna be judged by what I did on stage or how many panties got thrown or how this great catalog, you know what I mean? I'm gonna work with a lot of people over the next 10 years, God willing. Who knows? They might say I might have this as a great of a career, but who wants to be at their highest high and their lowest low at the same time? I'm gonna say that again. Who wants to be at their highest high and their lowest low at the same time? Nobody. And besides, like I said the other day in an interview, where all the king talk, let me just break it all the way down for you. The music business. Think of the music business as a continent. Think of the music business as the continent of Africa. For a second, right? And every artist represents a village and a tribe. And for my tribe and my village, I'm the king. For the people that follow me every day or listen to my music, you know how they listen to it, or like the diehard cult following fans that feel like I'm the greatest thing ever to them, thank you for allowing me to be your king, and you're my village, you know. But as you conquer, as those tribes would go and conquer different territory, if they successfully conquered new territory, then the tribe, quote unquote, got bigger. You know? And so that's the goal for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let the tribe get bigger. You know what I mean? Like, you know. But I got in my mind that 20 years from now, my name will be in certain conversations when they talk about great music and vibrant artists and creative people and hustling and being innovative and like putting artists on and discovering new talent and that type of thing. Like, my name will be in the mix. Like, that's just, I got tunnel vision on that. I already see it. So it's really about just making it manifest, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that's important to me.